Hey there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and creative homes. Today we're traveling back to California to visit a tiny house village and meet Deb, who is seeking a tiny home that would grant her the ability to travel the country and enjoy her hobby of paragliding. With the help of her entire family, Deb was able to build her forever dream home on a limited budget. Her tiny home design includes space for all of her personal mementos and also allows Deb to embrace simple living in a tiny house village. But before we jump right in, if you like videos like this one where we showcase stories of people living alternatively in unique builds, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new tour.
I'm Deb. This is my tiny house sunshine. I lived outside of Seattle in the mountains and I'm a paraglider. I am totally addicted. There's nothing better on earth than flying like an eagle. It's just so surreal. You get up there and all you hear is the wind and everything's moving real slow. And it's just, it's just amazing. So I decided I wanted to travel a little bit and fly other places. I spent like several months looking at campers and they all just seemed really cheap to me, cheap plastic. And I wanted something sturdy that I can drag around to different parks and things and fly. That was it. So the process of building the tiny was quite difficult actually. I had listed out every single cost I was gonna incur and I thought it was only cost me about 30 grand. COVID hit and everybody raised their prices. It took me back to what I could actually put into the tiny and I had to be very economical. It was all budget. I quit the rat race years ago, so I didn't have a lot of funds for that to go all out and have somebody else build it. I grew up building tree houses with 6 brothers. I was just like, well, I could do this. It's my brother Kevin. He's the one who framed it all out and everything. This is my brother Kevin. He's helping me frame. That's his queen wave. And looky here. My brother Kenan came along and did the subfloor and attached it to the trailer. Say good morning, Kenan.
Oh boy, good Monday morning.
This is me. Standing in my little living room. So this house cost me about 40 grand, including the trailer, which was about 7, and took about a year to build. Every place I could find, none of the RV parks, campgrounds, not one of them would take a tiny. Just happened to look online, one of the tiny videos from Jenna popped up in my feed, and I was like, the tiny house block, oh my God. And it said Mount Laguna down at the bottom, and I'm like, where's Mount Laguna? So I'm back in the mountains. I love the mountains, I'm a mountain person. This is my forever home. My brothers and I went to town on this. There's nothing I could ever live in that would mean more to me. My brothers just blew my mind the way they helped. They kept saying, we're making your dream come true. It's 24 feet by 8.5, so that it's legal, so I don't ever have to have a permit. I found the door on the side of the road one day with a free sign on it, and I've always wanted a door with windows. I loved it, so I took it home and refinished it. It's kind of finished in the barn theme as well as the rest of the house. And these are my DIY steps. I saw a video and said, hey, I could do that. Instant steps, cost me like 20 bucks. You don't have to have a lot of money to do this. Just be open, look around. It'll save you a fortune. You can find all kinds of recycled items. That door is completely recycled. 3 of those boards are recycled from the neighbor. And this is my little outdoor area. My friend gave me the grass because the gravel is really harsh. Welcome to my tiny. Come on in. So this is my living room. The living area is like to here. This is my whole living room. I don't have a TV because I'm never home. I don't need a TV. I have a computer. I can watch whatever I want on there. Took me forever to find a blue couch that was small enough to fit in here and still have room for my little end table. It's a wine rack, actually. It took me months to find this blue couch. I finally found it on OfferUp from the nicest lady in the world, and I went and got it the other day. But I wanted something comfy, but big enough for company. And my girlfriend Jennifer gave me Johnny because he's my main man. I'm a happily divorced woman, and that's the only thing I'm interested in. So Johnny hangs out with me on my couch. I made this stained glass. Took me about 40 hours. It's 168 pieces of just feathers. You can count them if you like. I used to make stained glass quite a bit and sell it, and that was the biggest piece I ever made, and I can't get rid of it. This is the rest of my living room. My hanging chair that I can sit in and swing and look out the window and look at my stained glass. I love it. It's my favorite chair. The kayak storage is very important because I love to kayak. I go out on lakes. I don't do rivers because I'm not insane. But I had to have somewhere for the kayak, and it was either that or put it on the roof. So I chose that. All right, and now we're going into the kitchen. Everything is open because I didn't want cabinets. I don't want anything blocking the openness and the feel of the whole tiny. I love the openness. I love the high ceilings, and so I have no cabinets whatsoever. So this is my countertop. It's all right. It's big enough for what I need. All I have is my microwave and my hot plate, and it's just a normal sink. I got an extra deep one so I can put big old pots in there, and I can actually kind of hide the dirty dishes. So it's just normal. It's hooked up to the RV park, the tiny house block park. Just like a normal RV, just with a water hose. I'm always going to be in an RV park, so I don't need a big tank to hold water or anything. I have an on-demand water heater. Everything in my house is based on weight. We went as light as possible because some things are really heavy, like my countertop, but we went lightweight on everything. All of the paneling is the thin paneling. There's no trim around the windows. You don't need it. It's just simple and clean. And down in my cabinets, I have my little easy bake oven and some dry food and things, bowls, my toaster. I went with art instead of cabinets because cabinets are ugly. So this is my little hot plate that I just pull out and hook up, and my bullet that I use when I make smoothies. I don't like to cook a whole lot, so I don't need a lot. So I went with a small fridge because it's just me. It is deep enough to hold a frozen pizza and ice cream, which is all that's necessary. The log I got from Seattle, a friend of mine got it from Weyerhaeuser Land, and I stripped it and put it in. I just think it's totally cool. And then I made the countertop with epoxy. Took me several months because it's several different pours. It's so deep. It has cedar wood in it from Washington, and it has all the crystals that I've collected over the years. I used to be a geological field tech, so I love rocks and crystals. So the grid behind me was made by my dad before he passed. He made it probably 40 years ago to hold a salt and pepper collection that he passed down to me from my grandma. I had to cut it down and make it smaller so it would fit, but he actually made that by hand, and I know it's a little crooked, but I love that. I don't care. So that was pretty much the center of my design, that right there. And that's one of the salt and peppers up there. It's a little choo-choo train. The whole reason I put the grid up there is so that we have the flow of air through the house. There will be a fan up there on the ceiling eventually. It's not there yet, but that's why I didn't do walls, of any real serious kind. I wanted it to be open so that I could even talk to people when I'm in here. If they're in the living room and I'm in the other room, I can talk to them, and I just like the openness of it all. I wanted some kind of storage for my jars. I have a lot of jars. I put a lot of stuff in jars. Plus it looks nicer than cabinets, don't you think? I like it. My cheese, my greens, my yeast. Beets that I actually vacuum seal beets myself. I do a lot of dehydrating and vacuum sealing. I already had the doors. I had got those at an auction probably 20 years ago. They're seashells. Each one is a sliver of a seashell, and it just brings light through. It's a lot like stained glass to me. It just brings light through and it makes everything pretty in color. It's usually pink when the light's coming through it, but that's why I chose it. And the fact that it's a grid, so that I kept in, line with my grid theme. So let's go into the bedroom. So this is my bedroom. This is my bed, my Tempur-Pedic mattress that I brought from home. Can't live without it. I've had it raised up so that I have lots of storage down under here. This is what I use just if I need to hop up on the bed. I don't feel like jumping. And then my dresser drawers are over there. I have that little table over there. It used to be a regular table. I just cut the legs off of it so I would have a little place to put my coffee. I use my computer for just about everything. My son got me this sweet little table. I love it. So I made the stained glass Seahawk because I am a Seahawk. That actually belongs to my son. I made it for him for his birthday and it has been broken 3 times now. And so I confiscated it until he's old. He's almost 40. So I'm keeping it until he's old. They alter the light in a room and it really can set your mood with the right piece of stained glass. And of course this is my paraglider. It's actually a harness and a paraglider. It's reversible, but I can throw that on my back and hike up any mountain I want and just run off the top of it. It's up there because there's nowhere else to put it. It weighs about 35 pounds and it had to be up and out of the way. Storage in a tiny is up. So I chose the ceiling like this on purpose because I wanted to be able to see the beams. I wanted beams across everywhere to be more barn-like. I built the roof myself. I watched a guy on YouTube who put the insulation on the outside rather than the inside so that you can still see the beams. My roof is metal. The way it's set up is the metal's on the outside, you have a huge gap for air, and that way any condensation resulting from the metal roof rolls down underneath and right out the side of the house. So you don't have rotting wood ever. The wind blows through there, dries it out. It's like the best roof system I think I've ever seen. So I want to be able to see the beams, so that's why I did it the opposite way most people do it. They mostly put the insulation up top. So this is my other closet. I have the 2 drawers in my dresser that are really huge drawers. And then this, of course, is my closet. It's got all the important items. This is my bathroom. This is my slider door for it. It's a work in progress because the screws weren't long enough. So as soon as I get the door finished on the other side, it'll be hung. This is my shower. I used the metal because it's lightweight. A lot easier to put in than them big plastic things. It's a 32-inch on the bottom, which is enormous. It's just perfect for me. I think I went metal because I kind of like the barn look. We had originally on the outside, we kind of decided to make it look kind of barnish, and that's how we did the window trim and stuff. And you just put it up there and screw it in, and you got to bend it around the corners, which is a little difficult, but other than that, it's good. So the toilet is just a normal flush toilet because I'm hooked up to plumbing just like an RV. For now, I'm in RV parks. A flush toilet is all I need. And so this is what my brother Kevin fondly called the solarium. It's my little greenhouse area. This will, in the future, will be a big old potted, big old planter in there, but I haven't had time to get one yet. This is tomatoes and stinging nettles, my favorite 2 things in the world. And I have a grow light right here so that they get plenty of sun. But yeah, I've always wanted to have my own food source if I need it. And you can live on stinging nettles. It's got everything in it. I decided I didn't need a sink in the bathroom because I have one 10 feet from here. So I wanted to use this space for growing. And that is why I had the tongue reinforced on purpose so that I could put a heavy pot planter on this tongue. They specifically built it for that reason. And I always liked a bay window setup. I think it's pretty. So yeah, the light is hooked up to the fan so that whenever the light's on, the air is being pulled outside to keep it cool in here. I don't want it too hot. And then the fan is also good when I'm taking a shower. It sucks all the moisture right out. A lot of tiny homes have problem with moisture, and you really have to put in a fan of some sort to alleviate some of that, especially in your bathroom. So I plan to stay here for 2 to 3 years at the most, and then I'm gonna go probably to Yosemite or Yellowstone, park somewhere up there nearby. I don't think you can fly necessarily over Yellowstone, but I'm gonna get close. I can go anywhere I want now, as long as there's a RV hookup, but this was my dream.
Thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more tours of people living tiny in this particular tiny house community, make sure you check out the links in the description.